Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new video from the FPL Wire. Yes, we're almost done with the international break. We're back into content week, and at the FPL Wire, you can expect a video every week. This week, I reckon. We have this little 15-20 minute video today where I built a very fun table for big hitters, which is going to hopefully feature on our pod regularly. We have a pod tomorrow where the three of us are back. Pras, Zoff, and all three of us will be back for the pod tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled out for that. And then we'll have our team selection videos from Wednesday through Friday. All three of us, one each. So yeah, lots of content coming. It's so good to be back into FPL mode. And I thought it's a nice time to delve into big hitters and actually just wanted to set a standard for wanting to look at big hitters quite regularly, because I discussed on the pod previously as well. I think how we deal with big hitters, are they prone to fixture shifts, and are big hitters, are some of them fixture proof? What are the trends? How do each of them behave based on their team performances versus opposition of different caliber? I've been doing this for the past few years, and this year I have created a table which is a little bit on nitro boost compared to the tables that I've done previously as well. So I'm hoping that this is useful for you guys. And I'm just hoping that this is going to be a regular feature on the FPL Wire. I'm hoping that this is going to be a regular feature on the pod as well. So I hope you enjoy it. I've just created the table today. I built it over the past day or two, and I hope that you guys can take the screenshots, share it if you want, give it the necessary credit, and draw your own inferences primarily from the video, from the table as well. So this is what I keep doing. Last year, I created this table when it came to big hitter analysis, where I was just hoping to see and find if there are trends when it comes to the performances of these big hitters versus opposition of different caliber, if there are trends between them home and away as well. Shout out to Fantasy Football Scout as well, because I was able to get this table out quite easily, because they give us the points per start data in the members area, and then you can filter the points per start or any other data against opposition of different caliber. So I can just go to a table and click, I want Haaland's performance, points per start versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams: Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Palace, Forest, and Everton. Now this is the data that I create. This is the table that I created at the end of last year. So what you see out here is the table from the 23-24 season, full season data. And what you're seeing here is Haaland's performance, points per start against color of opposition. Color of opposition is slightly tougher opposition. His performance against middling opposition, which is less caught opposition, and his performance against the bramble opposition, which is the which is like the bottom 8 teams. So this data is based on, we don't get this information at the start of the season, but just to give clarity and see if we can see trends, this data was calculated by the best performing 6 XGC teams in the Kolarov, the middle 6 teams in the less caught, and the bottom 8 teams for XGC in the Bramble. I also looked at home and away, and I just wanted to see if there are trends that we could spot. Have a look at this table. I'll just get a sip of water. So yeah, just generally, what did we notice last year that might have influenced my decision making this year as well? Haaland was all right against Kolarov opposition. He was all right against Lescott opposition, but he was a flat track bully. He was really, really good. He was only the second best player in the league against the Bramble opposition in terms of points per start. And there was a huge disparity between his home, not a huge disparity between his home and away performance. So he's sort of fixture proof because his Kolarov and Lescott numbers weren't that low last year. And he was the best performing away asset as well. So if you're looking for like a set and forget sort of asset, Haaland, I mean, obviously you're paying 15 million for him this year, but he fit that bill. And it's worth remembering last year that Haaland wasn't his fittest best. He had niggling injuries throughout the season. So his season before this, which was his debut season, was much better than the season you see last year. Palmer absolutely smashed it last year. It's interesting that he did really well against the Kolarov opposition. So he did have a few big game hauls in him. He was really, really good. And it's important for context because I'm creating this video before Gameweek 8. And Palmer has a tough run of fixtures incoming, and FPL managers are contemplating how he's going to do. Well, last year he did pretty all right, man. Against Kolarov opposition, Lescott, he was same as Haaland, and he was a flat track bully. And how he had the most explosive points potential against the easy opposition. 10.1. We've seen signs of that this season already, and he was a home game monster. Not gonna lie, I got in Palmer instead of Saka on my Gameweek 6 wildcard. One of the reasons I did that was because he is a flat track bully. He's a home bully. I saw that there were 2 home games coming against Brighton and Forest, so I went for it. So last year at least, and obviously it's a different manager last year. There's a different manager new this year. When you're looking at all this data, you need to apply your own context. Now, I'm recording this video at midnight, so I might forget some of the context. But I just wanted to show you guys the data so you guys can create your own context, form your own trends. Let me know in the comments below what context we can add to the information that we see as well. I'm going to show this to Pras and Zoff tomorrow as well and see what they have to do. All right, and this is last year data. This year's data, which is the Nitro Boosted table, is coming in a bit. Foden did well in the Lescott games. Not really explosive in the Bramble games. Did decently well at home. Mo Salah, interestingly enough, wasn't very explosive against easy opposition. He did really good in the tough games and the middling games. That sort of makes sense because he was a beast for counter-attacks last year. And last year he was a home monster, which isn't quite the trend. Spoiler alert this year. Saka did decently well against Kolarov and Lescott opposition, but he wasn't as explosive as Haaland and Palmer, but he was the third best. After Haaland and Palmer, it was Saka who was best in the easy fixtures. So he's a good shout for a just set and forget sort of premium if you want to play that way. Also, he was pretty decent both home and away. Kai was interesting because Kai was just terrible. Probably worst out of everybody in the tough fixtures. He just didn't perform. But also worth noting that Kai started playing center forward in the second of the season. Now this data that you see is for the entire season. So there is some noise there. I don't have data for Kai just for the second half of the season. But yeah, that's worth adding. Watkins did really well in the Lescott fixtures. Worth noting with Watkins is that he had similar points per start home and away, which is also the case this year. So he isn't a home game monster per se. Bruno was just poor last season. Bruno's continued to be poor this season. Son was interesting because he wasn't really explosive against the Bramble opposition. He was really good against the middling opposition as well, but he was one of the best performers against the tough opposition. So he's a big game player. And again, you're thinking about it as an outlet on the counter, and Son sort of fit that bill. And Isak was a home game monster. Did really well, as good as Saka in the easy games, and did really well at home. Now, obviously, you think of St. James's Park and that comes to your mind. If you're looking at the best performers, again, the Kolarov table, Palmer and Salah and Son did really well. Palmer maybe is a big game player. Mo and Son counter-attacking outlets. Foden, Mo and Watkins did well in the Lescott. The flat track bullies were Haaland and Palmer. And Saka and Isak also showed good correlation. For almost all of them, they did better in the Bramble compared to the Lescott, except maybe Foden and Mo and Watkins. That's it. That's the data from last year. Now, what can we decipher from this year? Yes, this is the fully loaded Nitro Boost version. I'm looking to update this regularly. I'll hope to feature this in my videos or on the pod maybe once in 3-4 weeks. Maybe every week, we'll see. But the data is here for everybody to see. Now, what I want to do is start adding sort of inferences. And what have I added to this year's data? I have mentioned it for all the big hitters. I need to add maybe Jackson in there, but I'll do it. It's a work in progress. If there are any suggestions that you guys want to make, do let me know. What we've done is I've given point-wise, match-wise breakdown. So how many points did Haaland get in these fixtures? It's easy for you to see. It's easy for you to spot trends. What's his underlying data? What's his XGI in these fixtures as well? So you get to spot whether the points correlated to the XGI data as well. I have sort of highlighted the fixtures as per Kolarov, Lescott and Bramble. So light green is the easy fixtures, yellow is the middling fixtures, and red or orange, if you may call it, is the tougher fixtures. I have given you the averages, his points average as well as his XGI average. I've given the average for home. I've given the average for away, points as well as underlying data. I've given the average against different caliber opposition, points as well as underlying data. And in the next 7 fixtures, at least in today's table, we can see how many greens are coming and how many reds are coming, and how many double digits has this player got so far this season, which sort of indicates explosivity or captaincy potential. And while it's just been 7 game weeks of data and there's going to be a lot of noise in this data, I'm just going to hope to find and constantly look at this and see if we spot trends, see if there's any learning. Because I feel like if you're going to play with glue guys, if you're going to play with the likes of Raya, Gabriel, Trent, Boomo, DCL, who are going to be set and forget picks, what kind of trends can we see or can we try to spot amongst the big hitters? And is it worth shifting them? Do we need to shift them? Are they fixture proof? Is this particular big hitter fixture proof? That's the kind of information that we want to get when we're trying to assess performance of these players against different caliber opposition, home and away, etc. You get the drift. So let's get into the nitty-gritties of this table so far. Haaland obviously did really well. Him and Palmer are the best performing averages so far at 9.6 points. Their underlying data is also really good. Haaland's 1 XGI per game. Palmer and Salah are 0.8 XGI per game so far. Haaland's got the best home average. He's done really well. I mean, look at that. He's got that 17 points against Ipswich at home, 13 points against Brentford at home. So he's done really well at home. And so has Palmer. Obviously, Palmer's average has gone up by that easy home fixture, which is a freak game where he had a 3 XGI and 25 points. So his average has gone up because of that. But we've seen last year that Palmer tends to do well at home. He's explosive at home and he's explosive in the easy fixtures. So, is it validated that he's still a flat track bully? Yes. Away performance, Haaland did well as well. So did Salah. Salah was a beast away this season. Obviously, a lot of that is down to his 14-pointer against Ipswich and 17-pointer against United, and then a 10-pointer against Wolves away. So he's done well in his 3 away games. We are all not paying much attention to Salah, and he's not much of a Twitter template, etc. as well. But he's done well, man. He's got some middling fixtures, though. The fixtures aren't the best, but it's worth remembering that he did all right in the tough fixtures last year. I think that said, you can just have one or Haaland or Salah in a decent sort of structure. And at the moment, given the fixtures that Haaland has upcoming in the future, it just has to be Haaland. I'm just going to go sort of player-wise and see what we spot. Haaland did really well. Look at his greens. In his greens, he's done 17, 13, 2. 1.8 XGI, 1.1 XGI. He's done 17 points in his yellow, which is the West Ham away game. This is as per my judgment. I put the XGC table on the side. I added my own context. Sometimes you will see a different rating for home versus away. And this is going to be a work in progress. I'm open to your suggestions. But what this shows us is that Haaland is prone to fixtures. Like once the fixtures get tough, we saw that last year also. In the tough fixtures, he's not as good. He's much better in the easier fixtures. So he's a flat track bully. You can afford to sell him when the fixtures get tough, is the learning that we have so far, because the average in the red is 6. It's still better than everybody else, but his 6 in the reds versus everybody else is 10, 16, 9.3, 8.5, 8.8. In the greens is better. So it's all right to sell Haaland at the tough fixtures. We can take that leap of faith if we want to. But otherwise, he's great in the greens. He's great in the yellows as well. So far, he's only had 1 yellow so far. So that's the noise that I'm talking about. But his underlying data is amazing. 1.1 XGI per game average in the greens, 1.8 in the yellows. And he's got 2 greens coming. More importantly, he only has 1 red coming. And most of the other guys have 2 or 3 reds coming, right? So he's just got Liverpool away as a tough fixture. Otherwise, the fixtures are just great. Even Bournemouth, Brighton and Spurs, they're yellows, but I like them from an attacking perspective. Forest is tough. It's more like the Fulham at home game, but these are nice fixtures for attackers. So Wolves, Southampton, this block of 5 is just great for attackers, which is where Foden is interesting. Unfortunately, we don't have data for Foden this year because subbed in 3 games, not available data. Only Fulham game, he got 2 points and an XG of 0.1. So we'll talk more about Foden on the pod tomorrow, but all of it is not available. Okay, his double digits are 2 and greens coming 2. That's just wrong information at the moment. Haaland is at 3 double digits, but that's not as much as Mo. Mo's been double digits in 4 weeks, man. So he's been good. But his underlying data is not as strong as Haaland, where his average is 0.8 XGI compared to Haaland's 1. His home average has been not great. His away average is pretty good. That's obviously because of the United Hall and the Wolves Hall and the Ipswich Hall. All 3 away games he's done well so far, except for the Palace game. He didn't do too well. His XGI data is consistent. Forest are stifling all the big hitters. They conceded only 0.3 XGI against Salah. Palmer, against Palmer, they conceded 0.5 XGI. So they're decent at stifling tough opposition. Worth noting though that Salah has 3 reds coming. Arsenal away, City, and Newcastle away. I think Newcastle at home is a yellow and Newcastle away is tough because of St. James's Park. And just otherwise, 2 greens, Brighton at home and Southampton away. So the fixtures, I think if you don't want to go without more, it's fine for the next 2 maybe, because you've got Arsenal away, which is one of the toughest fixtures. But we do need to consider or see if we want to have more by the time Brighton at home comes in. But that said, Haaland has a tough run of fixtures then as well. So does Mo. So Haaland has an easy run of fixtures in 10, 11, 12. So does Mo. I'm hoping you can see the mouse pointer because I'm directing. He's done well in the easy fixtures. He's done decently in the yellows, but he's had no reds so far this season. He was good in the reds last year, but he's had no reds so far this season. All right, when it comes to Palmer, flat track bully has done really well in the greens. In the greens, he's done 17, 6, and 25. And he's clocked a minimum XG of 0.8 in the greens. And he's got 2 greens coming. And he's got 1, 2, 3 yellows coming. And 2 reds. In the red against Man City, he just got 2 points and he was 0.3 XGI. But we saw last year he was good in the reds, in the Kolarov fixtures, where he got 7.4 points. So how will he do in these fixtures? I think Arsenal's a tough fixture. I won't be surprised if he gets a return or 2 against Liverpool. Because Liverpool this year, I was reading Tom Freeman's article, which is on the Scout, called The Big Numbers, and Liverpool have conceded the 4th highest chances on counter-attacks. And Chelsea have had the most number of shots on counter-attacks this season. So that matchup adds up. Obviously, that has happened probably because of the Brighton game and the Wolves game, maybe because they were sort of crazy open-ended games. But yeah, he's done well in the greens and yellows. He's done equally well home and away. He's got just 2 reds coming, but he's got 2 greens coming as well. And 2 double digits all so far. Same as Saka. We might think that Saka's less explosive compared to Palmer, but he's got the same. It's just that the difference, when he goes crazy, he goes berserk. He's got a 17-pointer and a 25-pointer. Like the 25-pointer is a freak game, but he's got it in him. Both are 4 return games. Saka's underlying data, man, just strong. Like in the greens, he's gotten, except for 1 game, he's crossed 1 XGI in all the greens. It's worth noting, though, I'll show you in the table ahead, that Saka's XGI is dominated by XA, not XG. So especially after Odegaard's gone, he's much more of a creator. Worth noting, though, that he's got 0 greens coming in the next 7 fixtures. Bournemouth away, in my opinion, is a yellow. Forest, we saw Stifles opposition. West Ham away is yellow. United, you could argue, could be a green, but yeah. And he's got 3 reds. So after the Bournemouth game, I think Bournemouth is actually a really good fixture for your good teams. You've got like 3 tough fixtures where you can maybe avoid Saka. How was Saka in the tough opposition last year? 5.6 points per game and 5.8 points per game. So yeah, man. And so far in the tough fixtures, he's got 6 points and 4 points and 0.2 and 0.4. So he sort of correlates well with fixtures. And he does really well in the easy fixtures as well. Also good average at home, man. Away, he's not bad. That said, Haaland, Salah, Palmer are just better away. Who's the worst away? Kai, man. He's just not had any return so far in away games, where he's got 2 points against City away, 2 points against Villa away, 2 points against Spurs away. All his goals have come at home. Is this a trend that's going to continue? Last year, he had more points away than home. So, this could just be noise. And I think he's just proper centre forward who's improving. So I think at his price, he's fine as a pick. Worth noting, is it going to be worth selling him? And is it worth going to do Kai to Solanke later? We'll discuss that on the pod tomorrow. Watkins has done well in the easy fixtures and not done so well in the tough and middling fixtures. So far in the easy fixtures, despite Aston Villa not really playing that well, he's done well. Now Watkins and Kai and Solanke data is interesting in the next slide that I'm going to show. But yeah, look at that. 5 points, 0.7 XGI against Leicester away, 13 points, 1.3 XGI against Everton, 6 points, 0.4 XGI, and 11 points, 0.5 XGI against Wolves. He's not got a lot of shots, but a lot of shots that he gets, okay, let me just show you, is big chances. Him and Solanke if you see, have the highest XG per shot. So their shots might not be that high in volume, but they have a higher XG per shot. So when they do take shots, there's slightly bigger chances compared to the rest. I just wanted to add that bit of context. He's got 3 greens coming. Yeah, 3 nice home fixtures: Bournemouth at home, Palace at home, Brentford at home. They're home fixtures, which is why I'm giving them a green. And then he's got Fulham away, Spurs away. Actually, it's fine for Watkins. The problem is that Watkins' minutes are a doubt, and they've got like a pretty tough Champions League schedule as well, which is the case for Salah as well. I think they've got Leipzig away somewhere between here as well. And after Southampton, they have Madrid as well. So they've got Aston Villa, Madrid, Southampton, something, and then Man City. So, it's a tough Champions League fixture run for Salah as well. And Liverpool, if you're talking about Trent, Diaz, etc. I will add the fixture table and we'll discuss that on the pod tomorrow. But I just wanted to get this table out for you guys to see and what you all think. Bruno so far, man. First 2 games, 1.2 XGI, 0.8 XGI, but just had nothing to show for it. His underlying data is not that bad, 1.2, 0.8, 0.6, 0.5. But he's just not performed so far, man. He's just not performed. That said, most number of greens coming out of all of them is Bruno. But our United are in a good space. That's for you to judge. It's interesting though, because this made me think about defenders. I'm in the market for defenders. After Brentford and West Ham, Chelsea's a tough fixture. But these are decent fixtures for clean sheets, man. Leicester at home, Ipswich away, Everton at home. If around game week 11 we have a new manager in place, there's a nice new manager bounce to take advantage of here right now. Can you sort of semi-bluff and put a United player in there, especially someone like Delors, so that you can take advantage of the new manager bonds? Something to think about, man. All right, Son. And Bruno's data last year was nothing to write home about, yeah. All right, am I just recording? Let me check sound. Yes, everything is fine. 22-minute video. I think we'll go for 5 minutes more and we'll be done. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you like the work that we've done, if you like the data. Yes, it's only 7 weeks of data, but I'm trying to contextualize, and this data is therefore mainly to you to see and spot your trends and make your own analysis. In the comments, let me know what you are seeing that I'm not seeing so far in the data, because I've just created this table. So I'll look at it more, I'll let it simmer a little more. What additions can I make to the table? You need to understand it needs to be visible in one image as well. Son is interesting. He's done really well at home. So in the Everton home game, he got 1.2 XGI and 16 points. In the Brentford home game, he got 0.5 XGI and 10 points. He's not done good in the tough games, despite doing good in the tough games last year. But it's like we don't have much data, but he's got 3 good home games coming. So Son needs to just be in our thoughts, because there's 3 greens. All 3 greens are at home. West Ham, Ipswich, Fulham. Fulham is not that easy, but just generally decent fixtures for attackers. Same is the case for Solanke. Not much data to write home about, but in the green and the yellow fixtures, Brentford at home, he had 1.7 XGI. That's insane. United away, he had 1.3 XGI. Crazy open game. Insane. He just had 6 points to show for it on both occasions. So he's just starting to post some really good underlying data. So if Kai has a downturn in performance in these yellow and reds, Solanke has got some greens coming. It's not a necessary move, but if we want to make that move, it's sitting there. Isak at the moment, I just put him in there because I want to track his data. And he's going to be fit, but right now we're not looking at Newcastle. All right, I just wanted to shout out that difference between XA and XG for Saka versus everybody else. So Saka has the highest XA here, 3.16. Everybody else is below 2. So he's the best creator amongst all these players. But that also means that his XG compared to the other big hitters is just less. He's lesser than Watkins, Solanke, Havertz, Salah, Palmer, Haaland for XG. But that said, he's just having such strong underlying data in the easy games, which is why he's good for bonus points. He's 4th for XGI compared to Haaland, Palmer, and Salah. What else do we see? Haaland, most of his data is just XG. Palmer's good XG, second highest XG actually. Same as Havertz. Havertz and Palmer are second and third for XG compared to the other guys. Palmer obviously has a pen in his locker as well. Salah also has decent XG and decent XA. Palmer also has good XA, it's 1.68. That's why the data is strong, man. Palmer could just be I am very comfortable holding Palmer and have no problems keeping him for a long time. I think he might be fixture proof as well, as we've seen here, in the 23-24 table. Everybody's performed above their underlying data. And I think that's fine because is Haaland, Salah, Palmer, Saka elite finishers or supplying to elite finishers? Palmer's not supplying to elite finishers. They're just good players who tend to do above their underlying data. Solanke hasn't done so far. And he's historically a poor finisher. So you have to keep that in mind when you're weighing down XG and XGI data for players. Solanke is probably going to be on par with his underlying data. So that's something you need to worry about. But his XGI data is good, man. And most of that is XG. He's good. Watkins is performing above because his XA is just his XA. He's always above his XA when it comes to his delta. Son always does better compared to his delta. And the only thing I wanted to shout out is that XG per shot for Solanke and Watkins is really high. Look at the XG per shot for Saka, man. He's not getting that many big chances. 0.08 XG per shot, which is the least amongst the big hitters on this table. I think that's it. That's it from me today in terms of, giving you guys context to big hitters, trends, and big hitter numbers. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Shout out to Sleeper as well. If you guys haven't actually set up a draft with your friends, doing it during the international break is the best time to do so. So download the app by scanning this QR code that you see and just play a draft with your friends. As usual, have a look at this data. Let me know what you think. Hit like, subscribe. Looking forward to your suggestions and see you on the pod tomorrow with Pras and Zoff. If you like this data, I would appreciate it if you actually give me a shout out on Twitter, YouTube, retweet the posts, etc. we do. And take care. Good night, guys.